symbolic, racial, and institutional power that Apartheid still holds on us as students, staff, faculty in this university today. Let us continue to encourage each other by these meetings and discussions. Your voices and presence matter. This week we have decided to turn our attention to a historical event that still bears sorely on us today. On this land that we stand on, in 1964, the people of Die Vlakte were forcibly removed from this land and the surrounding area. This was to continue for the next few years. The people were moved to Iris Valley and Cluttersville, far from the homes and the community life they once had. What was taken from these people was not only their homes, their lives, stability, and sense of belonging. Imagine having to start all over again. Today, we as Open Stellenbosch movement stand up for this injustice and call the university to stand accountable for the part they had to play in this ordeal. So what we're basically saying to the university is that where is the financial support for the community people that have been moved from this? Where's the bursaries? Where is the reparation? That is what we are calling for. Marginalization is very evident in this because this building that we have lectures in, this was where people once lived, and we are calling for them to give bursaries, financial support, do programs. The look of school that we have there, it's a community, it's the university's community center, but what is it really being used for to include the community in it too? Like we are being marginalized in the community and the university presently, Stellenbosch has a long history of being part of this kind of marginalization. We call for the university to openly acknowledge their part in these removals. We call for justice for the people of Die Vlakte. We stand in solidarity today. Apartheid no longer has a place in this institution. Open Stellenbosch. Yeah.
Greetings everyone, thank you so much for attending. So those of you that were at the teaching yesterday, can I just get an indication of the teaching? Who was here yesterday at the teaching? After the teaching, I disagreed with everything that the speaker said, and I went on my own quest with a friend of mine into the community of Cluttersville. The story that we heard yesterday is a complete different one to what I heard yesterday sitting in Muhammad Ras's living room with Sheikh Yusuf, the caretaker of the mosque. There has been a total disregard for the community of Die Vlakte, and it's necessary for reparations to be paid back to the descendants of the people from Die Vlakte. I'd like you please to help me welcome Sheikh Yusuf, who will be sharing some stories and some of his thoughts as well. Please welcome Sheikh Yusuf.
Good day everybody, welcome. I was asked to say a couple of words about Die Vlakte. Now, Die Vlakte, as we stand now, used to be my playground. As a small boy, I used to just walk around here, but at 10 at night, a siren went off that removed us from the place. If you are caught here by 10, they lock you up. And after the school, the first school, as I said, was down at Pick and Pay. Then I moved to another primary school, the Forske Primary School. It's just across the road here, next to Lukov High School. That was my next primary school. And all these houses that you see now, or these buildings that you see now, the one that we are standing on, this used to be my playground, this used to be where my friends used to stay. I don't even know where they are today. They have just been removed out of sight, as I say, out of sight, out of mind. And on the Reineveld Street, that is where I grew up actually. That road, the Van Reineveld Street. I see that they tried to keep it intact by putting a nice front as how it looked a couple of years back, 30, 40 years back. But the point is this, the same people is not there anymore, so it will never be the same. What the appeal, while I'm speaking on behalf of the community of Stellenbosch, the community of the Vlakte especially, I'm not speaking out of vengeance, but I'm speaking out of compassion and appealing to the varsity. Please give back what you took from us by giving us facilities, by giving us resources, by giving us, you name it. At least our children, my children, my grandchildren or whatever, give back to them at least to say, listen here, there's a small bursary for you, you can come and study in this university. I have two daughters that matriculated, they're still sitting at home. They can't even enter this varsity here. They're still sitting at home, and they matriculated about two, 3 years ago. I went there and they said, no, sorry, she doesn't qualify, it's too late, stuff like that. But this is the appeal from the community, is give us back some resources, some facilities, or whatever the varsity can give us back. Please, we don't want ownership of the varsity, but at least give us ownership of Stellenbosch, the open Stellenbosch. That is what we want. You must put down on that slogan, you should open Stellenbosch to the community of the Vlakte again. That is what we need. Thank you very much, people. I don't want to talk too long. There's still some more speakers coming up. Anyway, ask questions.
It's also very clear that there's been a huge misunderstanding about what the historical implications of this place are, and so we'd like to get some questions, comments, feedback. While we wait for our next speakers, you can address them to the chair or to any other members of Open Stellenbosch. And I think it's also important to mention that what we're doing here is not removed from the overall mission to open Stellenbosch, to rearrange the institutional culture, the culture of exclusion, the culture of unbelonging for people who don't fall within some pre-drawn or pre-arranged category. This stuff is not removed from the language policy, which itself is a modern day version of forced removals. We have to think about this as intersecting historically. And when we make our demands to the university, we need to be clear about the fact that firstly, transformation does not begin in 2015. Real transformation has a historical responsibility. And that is why we are wanting justice for the people of Die Vlakte. Reparations for the people of Die Vlakte. I'll open the floor for some questions, comments, while we wait for some more community leaders to come and address us today. I think what's an important place to start is to kind of just get a sense of how many people actually knew the history of this place. How many people knew that the place, the land we are now standing on is stolen land? 2, 3. A few. And this is part of the call for the change in curriculum as well, so that these histories, which are, in a sense, people's voices, people's lives, people's stories, become part of what you're taught, what we're taught here at Stellenbosch. So that it's not just a transitory space where you come and get a degree that hopefully one day will get you a job in some marketing or accounting firm, and you have no collection, no understanding of the damage that was caused in order for us to be here right now, studying in this place, earning degrees in this place, continuing to have a competitive advantage over the people who are the legal and rightful owners of this place. continuing to benefit from the privileges that are accrued to us. With no knowledge of that, the university is okay with that because it keeps the system going. We'll take some questions, but Rachel, you can have your comment first.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So I've lived in Stellenbosch for quite a long time. In fact, my father first moved here when I was 7 years old. So I've been in this town and had my fair share of like ups and downs with it. I in fact came here and learned Afrikaans because before coming to this university, I was convinced this town was a really beautiful place. And as a 7-year-old falling in love with a language, I thought that that would be a beautiful thing to do to express my love for this place and what it means. But as I've spent more and more time living here and getting to know the nuances of this place and of this town, I now live in Ida's Valley, and I've come to see that the community I now find myself in, I don't find here. I find the same community I went to school with here comfortable in the same way that they always have been. I went to Relish. They are not aware of the space that they find themselves in, and now that my context has changed, I realize and I see daily that the people who are part of my community now are not here. And if the people of Ida's Valley community can welcome me into the community, are happy to see me every time I walk into the super to buy my bread, but this space cannot welcome their children, this space does not provide their children with the opportunity for education,
yes,
then there is something very wrong with the way we have approached dealing with our history.
There was a question at the back somewhere.
Sheikh Yusuf, you said earlier you didn't know where the people of this, where they went to, so you haven't seen them in years. So how, if the university gives it back, how are they going to know who they're giving back to? If you don't know where they are, how does the university, how are you going to find out and give back to the real people who are actually moved?
Yeah, okay. Some of the families, they still got some relatives here, and it's basically, I mean, if you are looking for a guy who's something like 70 years back, 60 years, even 60 years back, he's most probably dead by now. But at least there is still relatives and families staying here.
So if you know that,
Well, it is a matter of the property or the place where they stay. Yeah,
personally,
there is some that we can talk to.
so if we give back, are we going to give back to the correct people who are actually affected?
Yes, I think you will give back to the correct people.
Hi, I would also like to respond to that question. I'm not sure how much you know about the history of the 1913 Land Act, and that was an act that was passed quite a good way back, right? 1913. We just had the 100-year anniversary of dispossession of land in this country. So the forced removals that happened here didn't only happen in Stellenbosch. They happened in various places around Cape Town, including Constantia, most famously District 6, where the largest single neighborhood of Cape Town, racially diverse neighborhood, was destroyed. Right? And people are very shocked when they found out how many people were removed from there. 60,000 people removed. And where are they? We know where they are. They are on the Cape Flats. They are in Manenberg, they are in Lavender Hill, and they are in Khayelitsha, and they are being killed. And some of that happens in gang battles. And we have to ask about the connections between this painful history of forced removals and the violence in the present. And so this issue is linked to all of those other forced removals. And we do know who the people are who are affected. They are all of the black people in this country who have been dispossessed of their land. Thank you.
There was another question there at the back.
So what's quite remarkable to me as well about this gathering right now, and I don't want to just make anybody feel bad out there, but I think this is a moment, an amazing moment that we have here gathered together to find out about this history from someone who was directly affected by it. And so, claim this moment, learn about this. There's things, we need to develop some more curiosity here about what has led us to the state of affairs that we find ourselves in now. And we only can get there by asking. And so some of that is very painful. We're asking people to share painful things with us. It might be painful for us to ask these questions. But, how did these things happen? How did they affect people? And yesterday I asked a question about how long these forced removals took. It took 6 years. It didn't just happen overnight, right? They destroyed people's lives systematically. We need to learn about that if things are going to change. So please, as a young people of today, university students, why do you have no questions?
Hi everyone. One of the things which I think we need to be just talking about here in this discussion around Die Vlakte's and Stellenbosch's role is that this actually feeds into something bigger around apartheid denialism of the university. So if we think of something like the D.F. Malan Memorial Center, which is where all students used to graduate until the end of last year, the end of 2014. This was named after one of the implementers and architects of apartheid. This was the prime minister that implemented Grand Apartheid. And yet, they changed the name to the Kutzenberg Center overnight, no media statements, no public recognition of this person's role. Why is that? Why is there nothing on the history? And it's not just Malan. If you look at between 1919 and 1978, every single prime minister in South Africa over the apartheid period came from Stellenbosch University. Either as a student or a chancellor or a lecturer or a professor. Smuts, Herzog, Malan, Strydom, Verwoerd, Foster, all of them came to Stellenbosch University. And yet if you log on to the university's website and you click on the history page, none of this is there. There's absolutely no mention of the university's pivotal role that it played in apartheid, and that is completely unacceptable. So that's why we as Open Stellenbosch and students that actually want the university to acknowledge and actively remember the role that it played in the university are saying that we had enough of this apartheid denialism. You cannot keep saying that the university, let's just bury the hatchet and move forward. Particularly when you have a building like this BA building that's built on the houses and areas where, like this earlier speaker was saying, they used to live here and play here, and bulldozers just come and absolutely eradicate where they were. Where are the signs that explain what happened to Die Vlakte? Where are those people? How many buildings and homes got bashed down? We have none of that information. We have to go and look on Google for ourselves, and that's ridiculous. This is meant to be an institution of high learning, not an institution of apartheid denialism.
Greetings, family. I also feel like education for liberation, and what we must tackle is the curriculum first. Hence, we don't know our own history. Our history department, I haven't even learned anything about Die Vlakte through our history modules. How many of you do history here in the group here or have done history? Have you guys learned anything about Die Vlakte? Exactly. So we have to. I think education is the main thing for us to attack this varsity, where we say that we know the facts, we know our history. Now teach the students, teach our people. So education is the power. Education is the weapon for us to know ourselves and to guide ourselves. Because the thing is, like I was saying Sheikh yesterday, it's so sad. We have a big Muslim and colored community here in Stellenbosch, but our BA does not offer Arabic in the BA language and culture. But I can learn biblical Hebrew. I don't know how many people are in the biblical Hebrew club, probably 6 people. And if we had Arabic in Stellenbosch BA language, I think it would be like 60, 50 people, because the community, the mosque is just here. And that's how we can integrate the community and the students all together. This can be an open Stellenbosch, an open space. Why not? Why not? Biblical Hebrew. And that's all this,
Hello everyone. I think this has been mentioned many times, but I think it has to be said again. The fact that we have a university like this that is untransformed, the fact that this university seems to cater to people in other parts of the country more than it caters in the town that it's in is quite sad. Every single day we see children who are affected, who weren't there when the forced removals happened, but are directly affected by the things of the forced removals. forced removals causes destabilizations in communities. You need to look at those communities that were moved. When you look at the after effects, there's problems, there's huge problems in those communities. And we need to say, when the children of those communities walk past to Stellenbosch University and think to themselves that, geez, people who come from as far as the Northern Cape, Namibia, even America, Germans, are benefiting from this higher institute, but I, the person who lives in this town, and my family's been in this town forever, don't benefit. That needs to change. Alright? If at least this university doesn't cater to the people of this country, right? It should at least cater to the people in this town. In this university, you would not know, right? If you look at this university, you would not know this is a town that constitutes of 55% colored people, right?
Yeah.
You would not know,
Yeah.
but it doesn't even give back to those communities, doesn't even recognize those communities. Instead, you feel like you live in three separate towns: White Stellenbosch, colored Grootersville, and Black Kayamandi, and that needs to come to an end, right? So yeah, thank you.
Hello. The one that actually bothers me, like this idea of, there's that one that actually bothers me, like the idea of this selective history. Like, I've interviewed these talks over the past weeks, and it feels like there's this thing within people to say that I want to learn about this kind of history, and that's what I take to be the truth. I think being a student here, just by virtue of being old enough to start to question what we're told, I feel like for us to move forward, should stop this whole thing of like, I need to tell you this about Die Vlakte. You're old enough to press a computer and ask yourself, why am I here? How did I get here? Where does this come from? That's what I want to say. Like this whole point of us having to like repeat. It's, yeah, we have to take responsibility. That's all. Thank you.
If I can just speak to that the speaker's just raised now, I think I can understand your frustration, but I think you need to realize that the point of us presenting these histories in what seems like a selective fashion is because up until now you cannot just push a button on a computer and read them and learn them. They have been actively underreported. They have been actively unstudied. They are not codified. They are not things that you can simply go out and seek, because it's a part of this apartheid denialism mentality that says we don't have to enshrine them, we've moved on from that. Yes. And we're saying we need an ability to find that information so that we don't have to gather like this, so that we can move forward. We can't move forward while there is no acknowledgement of those histories, while those histories don't, in all effect, exist for people to find. And then the other thing I wanted to speak to is just what Nick said as well, and I think that this speaks to what happened last year when we had that big gathering about safety in Stellenbosch and like, what are we going to do about the fact that this town has become so unsafe? When we were talking about that, we weren't really talking about this town, let's be honest. We were talking about this little white area of town, and I mean the buildings.
Yeah.
And I think what we fail to recognize there is that the issues we experience on this campus are a product of a history that we're not talking about. When I sit as a white person on the side of the road speaking to a 14-year-old boy who comes from Grootersville, and everybody wants to know if I'm safe, not if he's safe.
Yeah.
There's a problem with the way we approach our sense of community, guys. And that's what this is about. It's acknowledging that there are people in Stellenbosch that are greater than just this campus, and that they have been done a historic injustice, and that this university needs to make reparation for that.
Justice for the people of Die Vlakte.
Justice.
What do we want for the people of Die Vlakte?
Justice.
What do we want for the people of Die Vlakte?
Justice.
Justice for the people of Die Vlakte.
Justice.
Sorry to come on again, but I'd like to raise attention to the fact that the dean of this faculty is actually here. Right there, the fact, Professor Johan Yatten, I believe. Nice to see you, Professor. Now, bearing in mind, would you like to speak? All right. First, I'd like to say, bearing in mind the fact that this is the social sciences faculty and the history that it has, I think it's very sad that this faculty hasn't been the first one to actually say that we should actually be talking about this history. You understand? It's very sad that there's a history department within this faculty which is first and foremost supposed to start here, but there's no recognition of that kind of thing. I think also on the issues of transformation, on the issues of broader racism that happen, this is the faculty faculty that is supposed to start that dialogue, but we haven't seen that happen. Instead, it's been taken forward by students. And first and foremost, if there is transformation, transformation needs to start right here in this faculty, nowhere else. And we just want to let you know that right now, this space is our space, and we've now owned it. And we're proud to say, and you must get used to the fact that we're always going to be here.
Justice for the people of Die Vlakte!
Justice!
What do we want for the people of Die Vlakte?
Justice!
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Some of you may know, some of you may not know me. My name is Johan Hatting. I am the Dean of this faculty. And I just arrived here, so I don't know exactly what was said before just going down here. But I just would like to say that I recognize the fact that this faculty, being the Arts and Social Sciences faculty, is the one that should take the lead on the whole of the campus in asking questions that other people think is just causing trouble. I've been in this faculty since 1974, and I have studied philosophy, asking questions that critique society for a very long time, perhaps not as visible as we would have liked it to be, but indeed, I think this faculty is a faculty that can do that. Can I just mention that our history faculty, our history department, has indeed started a project on the history of this area, Die Vlakte. But what we would like to see more, and I've asked the history department to provide me with the means so as to commemorate in a proper way what has happened on this soil. It is indeed a shame what happened on this soil, and at this moment I am also have asked a few staff members, also in the Department of English and in Visual Arts, to help me, to advise me to, within this building, not only in the foyer but also within the building, to make proposals as to appropriately commemorate the history of injustice that was going on this soil. So I would like to invite this movement and some of the leaders of this to also help me and make some proposals as to how to further do that. I have some ideas, but I would like to soundboard that also with what you guys can bring to us. And from my side, as Dean, I think I welcome this initiative. And indeed, it is important that we also have the voices of our students, arts and social sciences students, all students on this campus to help us transform this institution. I think I must stop here, but I would like actually to say that it is a good thing which is happening in this space. Already that wall over there, these other walls coming in here, there's something growing in here. And later on, I think we will see that we will have a more, even a permanent exhibition within the building here, in which there is a space owned by the students that we as the faculty, as the university management do not own. It is something that we do not want to control, an open space in which students can make their contributions. But I also would like to propose that in the area inside this building, that we also have a space where people from the Vlakte who have been removed there, their descendants, also have a space, not controlled by the faculty, in which they can also disseminate the knowledge that you were talking about just now. And I just overheard the idea of bursaries, and I support that very much.
Yes!
I've heard stories in the older days that students had to go through Merriman Avenue to UWC while there was a university on their town. And that, I think, is also part of this injustice. The only thing I like to know is how many students we need to help. Thank you.
Thanks very much to the Dean. I think I have a very simple proposal which we can take further, and the only solution that we can have for integration of the greater community, the greater Stellenbosch community, begins with reparations and begins with justice. Justice for the people of Die Vlakte!
Justice!
Justice for the people of Die Vlakte!
Justice!
We have our community leaders who have arrived. I think, would you like to give an introduction?
Dean, we have a amount of schools in Stellenbosch, inclusive in Iris Valley, and we can start off with our schools, making education attractive to our young people as well. And we do workshops every Saturday with young people, and this seems impossible to them. So making this more accessible by just going to the schools and offering bursaries to personally to the schools, I think that's what we can start as a process of reparations. I'd also like to welcome up now Dominic Adams, who was also born in Die Vlakte, and with him is who was born in Die Vlakte and who will address us on this issue. Please could you clap our hands.
I can't speak, my voice is not that good at the moment, I have a cold. But I have with me a good friend of mine, Mr. Willie Ortel. He is a former mayor of Stellenbosch within the new dispensation. He was born in the Vlakte. He grew up here and he told me about the trees he used to climb. Now, that church all over there, that is the Volkskerk van Afrika's church hall. That is our church hall. The community, the congregation I currently serve. We had, and our church building is still standing over there. We have had land here, and the people actually, they would speak about the Vlakte. The Vlakte was a close-knit community. But due to greed and due to separate people on the ground of color, we were forcibly removed from this area of the town. And we are still engaging with the Land Claims Commission to have some reparation for our land.
Yes.
They offered us years back 89,000 rand, which people accepted at that point in time. Now they are offering us 512,000. But if you take the value of land in this area now, it's gonna be millions of what we are being owed. But we don't only want to see this in terms, in monetary terms. We would like to see and we experience it as the takeaway of our humanity. And we will fight until the last drop of our blood to have our dignity recognized. Just as we recognize the dignity of those who dispossessed us. Our people had to sell their land, had to sell their houses, their churches, their church halls, and had to start anew in Cluttersville and Iris Valley and elsewhere. I have asked myself many a time, where would we have been if we could still have had our land? We could have started then already medical aid to see to the young people. We could have started a pension fund to have our people at a dignified pension. And we could have been an integrated community. And I would like to use the words of Professor Nico Koopman. This is a challenge for us today, to work towards healing, reconciliation, helende verzoening. En dit is vir my 'n historiese oomblik hierdie, dat op hierdie dag word die rector van hierdie universiteit geïnstalleer hier by die universiteit. En hierdie universiteit het 'n rol van kritiese belang om te speel in die samesyn en bring van mense. En het is so, ons was nooit toegelaat om hier te studeer. Ons moes gaan na Bush toe. En IWK het nou daar geskiedenis. As jy nie 'n draai geloop het by IWK nie, lyk het my, dan was jy nog nie op die universiteit nie. En IWK, UWC, was one of those institutions that helped us to strive towards the recognition of our dignity. And people like the late Professor Botman, people like Professor Jerkisman, they used to teach at UWC, and even Professor Julian Smith, Professor Rolf Stoom, he was vice rector here. He started this initiative years back in our church hall in Irish Valley. And this was followed up by Professor Chris Brink, a good friend of mine. I think he's somewhere in the British Isles. And then Professor Bosman. And we are proud of you as students that you have taken this initiative. And I would like to pledge our support for our students in this initiative.
Yes!
This is a peaceful initiative, and we're going to keep it peaceful in recognition of property and of people. God bless you.
Thank you. And now, we would like to get a word from the former mayor of this town, but before we do, for those of you who don't know what's going on here, coming out of class, we are a collective of students, faculty and staff, and at this moment we are gathered here to demand justice for the people of Die Vlakte who were forcibly removed from this land, the land on which the building that you're coming out of, the lecture that you just had, was stolen from the people of this land. And we're demanding justice for the people of Die Vlakte.
Justice!
No. We are demanding justice for the people of Die Vlakte.
Justice!
Justice for the people of Die Vlakte.
Justice!
Justice for the people of Die Vlakte.
Justice!
Molen. Senzeni na.
Just to make everyone know, the song Senzenina is a song that we used to sing during the liberation process. And in churches as well. And it basically asks, what have we done? And it repeatedly says, what have we done? Senzenina. And I think that's important that the people ask that question. Because when you've been oppressed and you did not have a choice to your oppression, when you're forcefully removed and you did not have a choice as to why you were forcefully removed, the only question you can ask is, what have I done? Right? And we must bear in mind that people have never done anything wrong. The only problem, what the Apartheid government saw as a wrong was you being born black, was you being born colored. And let me tell you now, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'd like to call upon the former mayor.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad, and I can tell you, this is an opportunity that I wouldn't like to miss. I was born in the Vlakte, I grew up in the Vlakte, I was chased away from the Vlakte, and to us and to my parents, it's a sad opportunity that we had to leave this wonderful area. We never had the opportunity, even if we walked, we were just living over there, 94 Reinefeld Street. I was born there, but I couldn't come to this university here. I couldn't attend to this university. I had to go to Cape Town. And the second class education that we used to get those days, I always think back of it today. And that's another thing that we must really look at very seriously. It is our education for our children. You know that all these primary schools, where we used to, our children in the Vlakte go to school, went to school those days. What happened? They were all chased out of their schools. Pardon me. Children had to leave and go to Iden Valley, even if they had stayed here, and later on they had to be removed to stay in those areas. They want to come back. And thank you very much for all of your efforts. I wish I could be part of you as a student here too today, because this is a wonderful opportunity for us to bring life back to the Vlakte. Thank you very much.
So some of you might be asking what this has got to do with Stellenbosch other than just Die Vlaktes and this building. And the question is, and the issue is that this is much bigger than just this building and Die Vlakte. This is one of the major issues that we've gathered around here to talk about now, but we can also be asking, what about the clerk in the accounting and statistics building 2 foot hood? This is the person that said that no Bantu child should ever do mathematics. And yet we have a plaque celebrating this man. And instead of removing that plaque, the university management and faculty decided to put 3 cameras to observe it, in case people want to vandalize it. So I think the questions around transformation, the questions around a lack of recognition of the university's role and visual justice on the university are bigger than just this building and Die Vlakte. And the questions that we have to the dean and to the management of the university is, why are they not taking a proactive role? Why are we the ones that are forced to force their hand to change these things? Why is it that 20 years after apartheid we still have plaques honoring the fathers of apartheid? If that's not apartheid denialism, then I don't know what is.
Thank you. Can we please get a round of applause for our community leaders who are now taking their lead?
Class gallery.
The community leaders have taken their leave. We don't have specific questions that we can answer that they would have been able to, but they had to leave. Before we close, it's a good idea to always either begin or close our gathering with the national anthem. You can lead us.
I wanted to say a last word before we leave. Okay, basically what I wanted to say is to tie up the knots of what we've been having here at this moment. That we are talking about the institution acknowledging its history and offering those people who were removed from this space some sort of reparations. But one thing I want to bring back to everyone's attention, to tie it back to the issue of transformation, is that we don't want the university to keep doing what it is doing to us. When those people come to this institution, if ever they ever get to be here, we don't want them to be an extension of whiteness, as currently we are. We are being made an extension of whiteness. So if you are going to open the space for somebody to come here, you must acknowledge that person on his own terms. I am black. If I am angry, you have to know that I'm angry, so that you can know that saying stupid things such as "move on, apartheid is over," it's stupid. So the thing of us being asked to be something else that we are not, it must stop first of all, so that we can even talk about transformation. So I just wanted to bring to your attention that the politics of space, of the reason why people say to somebody else, "You are not Afrikaans, you don't belong here," it's because the institution is still attracting the same people that it attracted 100 years ago. How can that be? If it says the locus of what it is as an institution is changing, why is it that it's still attracting the same guy it attracted 100 years ago? Because institutions, to be honest, if you didn't know this, they don't recruit you, they recruit themselves. If this institution is recruiting racists, it means it is racist. Institutions don't go out and recruit people who don't fit them. It recruits things that fit them. So if we have racists in this institution and are being recruited and somehow find this institution attractive to them, it's because the institution is racist. So this is the point that we are here. We are here because people were racially removed, and we are here because the institution has not acknowledged that, and it's not doing anything to change it. Justice for the people of Die Vlakte. Justice!
Justice!
A new song for the movement was put forward. I would like to lead it. I believe it goes I'm not a Mati, what is that? They exclude me with their language. I'm not a Mati, what is that? They exclude me with their language. I'm not a Mati, what is that? They exclude me with their language. I'm not a Mati, what is that? They exclude me with their language. I'm not a Mati, what is that? They exclude me with their language. I'm not a Mati, what is that? They exclude me with their language. What? I'm not a Mati, what is that? They exclude me with their language. I'm not a Mati, what is that? They exclude me with their language. I'm not a Mati, what is that? Thank you. Thank you. So when you ask yourself what we're about, you can just sing that song, and then it'll remind you very quickly. Thank you for everyone coming here, and I think just to show unity with the community and also show unity with ourselves, it's important that we sing the national anthem before we leave. We'll start singing.
I think this is also a reminder, an opportunity to remind ourselves. Again and again you hear people saying, what does language have to do with this? If you knew Stellenbosch was an Afrikaans university, why did you come here? I'm sure you've heard that before. Yes. People say this again and again, you knew it was an Afrikaans university, why did you come here? What they're actually saying is that you knew that you'd be subjected to racism, why did you come here? You knew that we don't want you here, why did you come here? And we need to remind them that this is not an Afrikaans university. This is a South African university. Nkosi sikeleli Afrika, aluphakanyisa uphondo lwayo, izwa imithandazo yethu. Nkosi sikelela thina lusapho lwayo, morena muluka setšhaba sa Yesu, ufedise dintlha le maswele, o se bulu